Paul, thanks so much for taking the time. How are you?
How am I? I'm on top of the world. How are you?
I was going to say pretty big row of weeks here for you, huh?
Probably the biggest in history. Yes.
In your history, or in just a history of the sport?
History of sports entertainment itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell everybody about what you did all weekend long and how you are possibly the greatest manager ever.
Well, I don't believe in the word possibly at all. I think it's undisputed. I am the greatest manager, advocate, special counsel of all time. And if for no other reason besides the first 35 years of my stellar career on top, I am the special counsel to the tribal chief, the head of the table, the end-all, be-all, Roman Reigns, who absolutely smashed Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania to unify the WWE and Universal Heavyweight Championships, and is now the THEE undisputed heavyweight champion of the world of this entire industry. And just based on that, let alone everything else I accomplished before, I'd say you got a pair of goats on your hand now.
Yeah, no question about it. Speaking of goats, there was a couple at WrestleMania, The Undertaker and Stone Cold. Talk about the impact that those guys have had on not only the sport, but on perhaps on yourself.
Well, I think, first of all, Stone Cold Steve Austin was managed by me in WCW before he came to WWE as Stone Cold Steve Austin. And in between WCW and WWE, Steve Austin stopped off in ECW, which I owned at the time. So I've known Steve Austin for over 30 years, and I'm very proud of him. And I thought it was very smart for him to wrestle his last match instead of stepping up and trying one more run against the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. As for The Undertaker, I managed him as well in WCW. And as he has revealed in the past few weeks during some interviews, I was one of the people that facilitated his move to WWE and to become The Undertaker. And I also applaud his decision to enter the Hall of Fame, signifying the end of The Undertaker's career before he got itchy and decided to step up one more time against the tribal chief to get smashed the same way Brock Lesnar did at WrestleMania this past Sunday. So I have enjoyed both Austin and The Undertaker's final bow, and I encourage others to take final bows before they step into the ring with Roman Reigns and get hurt.
Right, exactly. Yeah, a machine, no question about it. Have you thought yourself about the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I have absolutely no desire to go into the Hall of Fame while I am the special counsel to the tribal chief Roman Reigns and putting together a Hall of Fame run simply based on what we do as the undisputed champion right now, let alone everything else that has been accomplished beforehand. So while we're in the middle of this run, would make no sense to go into the Hall of Fame.
Right, exactly. So talk about, I was thinking about this earlier as I was getting ready to talk to you. You know, things have changed, obviously. I've been in this business for 32 years. You've been in the business for a long time of what you do. Talk about the impact that there's so much extra content now that you guys put out there. I was just looking at like your social media pages. WWE does a fantastic job with their social media and stuff. You mentioned ECW. When you were running that, it's like you did a show and then you moved on to the next city or, recorded the next show or whatever the case is. Now there's so much more involved, isn't there?
Well, of course, but that's just the emergence of different platforms of distribution. Here's an example. YouTube only came around in 2005. So before 2005, there were no other forms of distribution besides just television or videotapes / VCRs or DVDs. Now there's all sorts of distribution. Your phone is a distribution portal for content. The content is everywhere. So you have to fill those needs because these are revenue generators. And we're a publicly traded company, and it's our obligation to our shareholders to go after maximized profits. And therefore, we go after anyone who wants to buy our content. We're going to give them content that we're willing to sell.
Yeah. And also like you're putting yourself right at the fingertips of many more eyeballs.
Oh, 100%. It's a distribution game, and we have the best distribution in sports entertainment.
Yeah, no question. So, of course, you're coming to Detroit here to the LCA for Monday Night Raw this coming Monday night. Talk about some of your favorite memories of wrestling here in Detroit or coming through the Motor City.
Well, I look at it in a much different perspective. Detroit has a rich wrestling history dating back to big time wrestling with the original Sheik. But to sit here and think about the different things that people that I know or that I myself have accomplished in Detroit it's only going to be minimized by what Roman Reigns is going to do this Monday night. And we do have a plan for Detroit.
Really?
And he is going to make an impact. Of course we do, because he's going to make an impact as the unified champion. He's not just going to sit here and rest on his laurels. WrestleMania was already a week ago. So we're not going to sit here and go, oh, remember back to WrestleMania when I smashed Brock Lesnar. He's a progressive tribal chief, as he said on last week's Monday Night Raw. And he's going to move this. He's going to move this entire industry forward. So my favorite moment in the history of Detroit wrestling, hopefully, will happen this coming Monday night.
All right. Yeah, exactly. There you go. What about some of the wrestlers? I know that, like Rhino is one of my buddies, Kevin Nash, guys like that have come through Detroit. You got any favorites as far as individual wrestlers?
Yes, Roman Reigns.
Okay. So I'll tell you this much right now. You're a pretty big dog in the industry. There's no question about it. But my friend Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, is going to be right there behind the broadcast booth. The broadcast location, and he's, you might want to just steer clear of that guy.
I really don't know anything about hockey because I stopped watching it when I realized it was fake.
Well, he's going to be there with his trainer. He's been in the ring several times now, and he says he's looking forward to the match. So keep an eye out for D-Mac with his 4 Stanley Cup rings.
Which doesn't compare to Roman Reigns unifying the championships at WrestleMania. So good for him. Let him get an Academy Award for his performance.
That is true. All right, Paul, listen, we'll let you slide. Thank you so much for the time. WWE is coming through town this coming Monday at Little Caesars Arena, and tickets are still available. And, of course, you'll be there with Roman Reigns.
Indeed.
Paul, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll see you later.